This episode is brought to you by WizKid Creative.
Hello, I'm Jack, and this is 𝐬𝐻𝐾 and Ember.
Appreciate you coming by.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks for coming. You're actually someone who's been on my list for a while because I don't remember how I met you or how I found you, but I just remember being like, who's that Jack guy? He's doing a lot of cool things like acting and filmmaking here in Winston. And I just kind of like followed along for a while, and then we ended up working on some things together. And then, yeah, it was just like, he's on the list. I want to talk to him. So appreciate you coming by, dude.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So real quick, we know you're Jack. Can you tell us a little bit about what it is that you do as it relates to filmmaking, video production, videography?
Yeah, I'm primarily an actor. That's what I've done the longest, studied the most, and still love. I don't know if I can say love the most anymore.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I do love it. Like, I haven't loved it any less. But over the past 4 years, I wrote, directed, and produced 4 short films of varying budgets and various scope, including editing, marketing, and now festival runs for those short films.
So soup to nuts, like idea in your head all the way through to the end to it's now people can watch it and see it kind of thing.
Yeah, everything.
Dang, dude. I don't think you know how much I respect that because I got a lot of ideas floating around in my head, but your ability to just go like, I'm gonna go make this thing, I find so fascinating and admirable and a little bit jealous, but in a healthy way. So.
Thanks. It's something that, you know, I have the first love of my life, my ex-girlfriend. She said to me fairly recently, she's an old ex, she's from, you know, like 20 years ago, and recently said that she was jealous of how I just go for things and throw myself into stuff and situation and places. And I've never actually thought of myself like that. And it's only, and even like now, it still kind of takes me back a little bit to go like, oh, right, that is quite a lot to do.
It is.
And to just do.
Yeah, just because you like, I'm just gonna go do it now. Like,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man, it's a lot. Because I'll say from one producer to another, I don't think people realize how much goes into making a film. Whether that's, and I'll throw them in here, like a 30-second reel for Instagram all the way to like a short film. Like how long was, what was the one? Carpetbaggers? That was what, like 10 minutes?
Carpetbaggers, yeah,
more.
It's about 8 minutes.
Yeah.
My first one was 19, just over 19.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so real quick, do me a favor, because I've lost track of all of them. Can you run me through kind of in chronological order all of your shorts that you've worked on? Yeah,
the first one was 𝐬𝐻𝐾𝐿. That was in the summer of 2023 that I filmed that one. That one's 20 minutes. It's about 3 different kind of storylines that all intersect with each other.
Okay.
The second one was always supposed to be called 𝐶ircadian Discord.
Okay.
And was getting scrappy as to how I was making it, and in order to do that, I kept pushing the dates, and so it opened up 2 months that I thought was going to be a creative 2 months, the kind of November, December period, and I was really bummed because it's such a quiet time of the year for me. It is. And so it's a great time to have a creative project to do, and yeah, I was just sitting with those months and thought, okay, I'm going to make a different one, and wrote a totally different script. That was Carpetbaggers. So made that one at the end of 2024. I'm actually still kind of editing it. I've just decided to add some pickups to it.
Oh, cool.
And redo the sound design. And then I made 𝐶ircadian Discord in the spring of this year. And then in July, I made my latest one, Eggs Like Eyes, which is still in the edit as well.
I didn't even know about Eggs Like Eyes, dude. So that's the other thing is like, if you don't follow along, if you don't keep up, it's like, oh, Jack's on to the next thing. Like,
yeah.
Here you go. So
yeah, it might be a toxic trait, not just a good thing.
Maybe toxic trait. We'll call it. What is it from Greek tragedies? Your what is it? The trait that like
the hero's that or Achilles heel. I mean, it's not
the hero's whatever.
Yeah,
I should know this, but it's okay. But yeah, man, it's really cool because I got to work with you on Carpetbaggers, and when we got together, you brought me on the project. You're like, hey man, like you want to DP this? And I'm like, yeah, cool, like let's go do it. And then you're like, hey man, I got this other guy who I really want to DP it. And I'm like, cool, like I'll produce it, I guess. Like, and then next thing I know, I was just kind of there on set and was able to just hang out, which was cool, and watch you work. So with all of your projects that you've made, you talked about how you were like acting. I tell my wife, I love you more, but I love Popeye's chicken first, right? It sounds like kind of something similar, right? With acting, where it's like, maybe I love acting first, loved it first. Or is it like, what are some of the new things that are interesting to you at the moment?
Yeah, I think I've just always, I spent a lot of my life convinced that I was a like predominantly left brain thinker. Mm-hmm. I loved math and things with structure, and was on a like military track, a leadership track, wow. All of this stuff that made me think that my life wasn't going to be a creative one. And then once that opened up, acting kind of filled it up and took it away. And what I didn't realize was that all these other things that comprise filmmaking kind of split the difference and require both brains. And so acting, most of the time, I don't really need my left brain for it. Mm-hmm. There are some things that I can do for it, but for the most part, it's just complete creative free fall. And that's the most incredible thing to be present for. But it's such a small component of what an actor is. The rest of it is sitting around waiting and just being like, okay, I'll get out of the way because I'm just an actor. And being a filmmaker gives you all of your brain firing at full capacity and stretching it even further when you're wearing too many hats. And so, I don't know, that I really love, and it's just such a different thing than the acting for me.
I see.
But I mean, I still love acting and do it, but when I'm on a set now and I'm just acting, I'm kind of like a little bored in between things if it's not an intense scene or whatever. Or more than just being bored, I just want to help. I want to get in there and like help a grip out moving something. I want to like talk about a shot with the director. I want to like get in there and sit in for the lighting test because I know it will help people. And all of it just starts to like make you go, oh, acting's fun, but like the rest of it is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what that makes me think of is like my journey was, I started as a PA, worked my way up a little bit, went to work at a camera rental house, worked there for like a year and a half, and then realized how much ACs were making per day. And I was like, what am I doing here making minimum wage kind of thing? Mm-hmm. And then went like full-time freelance and like worked my way up to like DPing and directing. And in doing that, like I was able to kind of touch every department, like you said. Like I was in camera, I was in lighting and grip, and then was in above the line or like on the production side of things. And like the thing that I realized that I love about it is that, especially being a producer, is like your hands are kind of in all the pieces. Maybe not necessarily doing all of them, but like I'm able to be kind of in camera department if I need to for a moment, you know? So actually, I want to ask you about something that you said, where you said like an actor being in creative free fall. I find that so fascinating because I've never acted before, and I feel like I need to if I want to be a better director. Mm-hmm. I was watching Mad Men last night, which is one of my favorite shows, and it was a scene where Peggy Olson is doing her first read as a copywriter with a voiceover talent, and the person she picks is, she's like, I believe it should be this person. And then they come in and do the read, and that person just isn't landing it. And Peggy, like, before the girl can even get going, is like, notes are flying in on the performance. Have you ever been in a situation like that? And like, when you're getting direction, like, what's it like being the person on the front end of the camera now that you know what it's like to be on the other side? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's a very long-winded way of asking that question, but the story was for context.
Yeah, no, it can be tough. Mm-hmm. I think I know what I like as an actor, and that's to be like fed little breadcrumbs or told very specifically. It's different all the time. It really depends on what I'm doing, like for my notes. But I still really want to feel like it's my creativity that is making the thing special.
Yeah.
It's giving it the spontaneity that doesn't exist on the page and won't exist if I just execute your note. And if a director does get like bogged down on given notes, it's definitely harder once you've experienced directing to not see it, identify it, and be like, oh, what do I do here? Is it okay? Is it appropriate for me to like speak up or not? But I believe more than anything that directing is synonymous with leading, with leadership. And I don't think enough time is spent on that. I don't know that, like, I think if you want to be a director, you should be going to school for leadership and management more than you should for pretty much anything else, because you could coach me to act better without being a director. If you know how to lead somebody, if you know how to see how I'm feeling and what's going on with me, and then coach me in the matching style that's going to help me get there. I have no idea what I'm doing. I might need you to be like, hey, just do this. And I'll be like, great, got it, done. Or I might be really close, and if you do that to me, it's going to make me feel like, oh, you don't trust me? You don't trust what I've got? And so you can't coach me like that. You can't direct me like that in that moment. You need to coach me. You need to match what's going on with me on my like ability, commitment, confidence, whatever it is that is comprising this moment, and help me fix that, as opposed to making me feel like if I just do what you do, then it's going to work. Because it's not going to work. It's just going to be an idea. It's going to be no better than the words on the page, because it's still me just trying to execute an idea, and that isn't going to lead to greatness. And it's kind of the only acting I'm interested in.
That's awesome. I love that, because that makes me think of a couple things. First is I was watching this video, I think it was Quentin Tarantino. He was talking about directing actors, and he was like, kind of rule of thumb for his is like, I never give a note for the first performance. I never do it. And he said the reason he never does it is because if I do, I will never know what that actor's interpretation of the role would have been without my influence on it. And he's like, I want to see that. I want to, like, that's something that he says, like, I want to be able to experience that, because that might change the way that I direct the scene now. Now, granted, he's pretty heavy-handed and specific on how he wants things. But yeah, it's just, and I love how you said, like, directors is synonymous with leadership. I feel the same way. I will tell you, I may not be the most technically gifted filmmaker in terms of like lighting ratios and color and all that, but like, to your point about, you might be right there in terms of what we need. And if I say anything right now, we might actually get farther away.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's like the people skills and the ability to read the room and read the person to go, do I trust myself enough in the person that I hired to not lean in at the moment and let them find it? And then there's other times where it's like, we're going off the rails and it's like, nope, let me gently bring you back to this place. So have you had an experience like that as a director then? What's it been like directing actors now that you have that in your tool belt?
I'm still loving experiencing it, you know? Like, I've had moments where I'm like, oh, my notes are shutting this actor off. Everything is getting less human. And I'm not facilitating what they need in that moment. But it is really tricky. I think the thing that I endeavor to do, and even this doesn't always work, is to see what they want in the moment, and not prescriptively prior to a thing happening. Because I can't ask an actor, how do you like to be directed?
Yeah.
I mean, I can, and they're gonna give me an answer, and it feels like a beneficial, good conversation, but then it's gonna be scene specific, moment specific, that I need to be directed in a different way. And so, you know, I'm seeking this spontaneous moment, as an actor, and therefore as a director, I'm trying to help facilitate that spontaneity that is better than anybody's idea. It's just something coming out of them, which is that creative free fall that I love, that I really enjoy spending my time in that. But trying to like navigate that ever so slightly and sculpt it and realize that even if it's not what I thought or what I want, and it is away from where it was, it's gonna be better than me trying to take that and put it into my thing. Then it's just gonna be a robot doing a thing.
Yep.
And we're so fascinated by that. That's the trickiest thing about being a director, is letting go of that control across the board, working with every single person in the process of filmmaking, of going, I have an idea, but I know it's not the only idea, so it's gotta like meet the other ideas somewhere along the road.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're tricking ourselves into thinking that this whole thing is based around convergent thinking and not divergent thinking.
Yeah.
And the divergent part of it is what helps that creativity have somewhere to go, instead of bottlenecking into this thing that's constrictive and doesn't have any space to breathe. And next thing you know, it's just not working on any level, but with the acting specifically. And I've felt it, and I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to like understand if, you know, when to be a more hands-on coach and when to be somebody who's just there to bounce ideas off of.
Yeah.
It's a fine line.
It's tough because like I don't have the experience, but if in narrative like you do, but I know exactly what you're talking about, because it's like, hey, this client's hired me to make this thing, like my production company, to do this, and I've hired people that I know to help me do it. But I didn't hire you to be a robot. I hired you because I want either your technical ability that you can bring that I can't, or an objective perspective that you can bring that I can't. And, you know, going through projects and like giving notes and like seeing, like giving notes and then seeing that come back interpreted and it being different than what I asked for, but it not being wrong.
Yeah.
Is like, that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Where it's like the direction I'm giving is like the balance between being prescriptive and like, do it this way, and hey man, we're trying to get to this place, or hey girl, we're trying to get to this place. And they might have a different interpretation of how to do that. You know, so yeah, curious with you, what's producing all these films been like?
Yeah, aside from acting, like on the first film, I had no idea what I was doing. So,
well, you masked it really well.
Thanks. It's all been like me just applying all of these transferable skills into this particular avenue. And the producing aspect, a lot of it feels, when you're doing a lot, when you're doing it all, when you're doing the entire process, you constantly find yourself being like, well, I don't know who else is going to do that, so I'm going to do it. And those are almost always the producer things that you're like, all right, well, I guess now.
Who's going to make sure everyone knows what time to be there and where to park and all that stuff?
Or like step one, okay, great, now where's the money coming from?
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Oh, producer hat here. Yeah, right, okay, cool.
My job is to produce this thing.
All of those things feel like they ignite in me the transferable skills from business, from normal jobs, or from like, you know, part of the reason that I'm quite passionate about the leadership part and where that, because I also think producers need to be leaders. I think anybody on that level should be a good leader. And if they are that, I'll work for you again, much more so than I am if you're a great talent. Or if you're cheap, or even if you're hardworking, great, but I still need like leadership qualities in everybody. And the producing part is very much that too. Maybe even more so, because if you can float right above the director and make them feel like they don't need to do that, like seeing people flourish is like such a fun kind of puppeteer role.
Dude, come on, man.
It's great. It's like, and everybody loves you on set. I mean, nobody remembers you when it's finished.
Correct.
But it's such a, like, you know that you made that thing possible. That's the part. The producing part is the most connected to the comment earlier of like, you just jumping in and getting things done.
Yeah.
Like that, you got to do that as a producer, like probably more than any other role in the whole process, is to be like, I have a will, therefore I will find a way.
Yeah.
With any of this, and hopefully instill enough trust in the entire team that then they go, cool, we are covered, we're good.
I'm gonna follow that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can stay in my lane as we go.
Yeah. I think it takes a very specific temperament to be a good director, and I think an even different temperament to be a good producer, because like you said, like producer kind of manages the director, and the director manages the whole set, you know? So it's like, there's a weird symbiotic relationship between those two. And the best production companies I've seen and the best productions I've been on, like commercial wise, like super talented director who had a clear vision and he was able to get the whole crew to go to that place. But then a producer who was able to, like you said, transfer those skills from filmmaking to the business world, or like what I call normal people. Yeah, I think producer more than any is that role that floats between the creative and, I don't want to say non-creative, but normal world, I guess. Which is why I like doing it so much, because it's like, it's almost like translation, like being able to translate ideas back and forth between the two. Hey everyone, I want to take a beat and thank this episode's sponsor, 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫 Creative, right here in Winston-Salem. 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫 has stepped up for me in this podcast to make sure the creative community in North Carolina can be seen and heard. 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫 is a full-service creative agency built for one thing, impact. And not just the flashy stuff, real impact. The kind that moves people, grows brands, and turns good ideas into work that actually works. Whether you've got a business challenge, a brand in need of some love, or just want to make something cool, like a podcast, they're the crew to call. Find them at 𝐬𝐻𝐾creative.com and tell them 𝐬𝐿 and Ember sent you. They'll hook you up. What's it been like doing all this here in Winston? Like, because UNCSA is right there. Like, I feel like that's a great talent pool that you can pull from.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of like, there's a real underground film scene here in Winston that I don't think a lot of people know about.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a lot of creatives here, you know, a lot of people, and all, like many small towns, like people are being more drawn to be in a city that's growing and exciting versus being in a big city that is probably just on a slow decline in all facets.
Or oversaturated and
and I say that as somebody who's still very much interested in going back to a big city. You know, but Winston has been great. I mean, there's talent here, there's creatives here, there are good people to bring on board for crew, all that stuff. But I think more than anything, the reason that it's been such a great place for me to make films for the past couple of years is because you can walk into a shop, a business, and speak to the owner and be like, listen, I'm trying to do something that like might sound a bit silly because we're in Winston. And like, I don't know who you are, but I'm making a film. Can I shoot in here? And like Eggs Like Eyes, the last one, the one that's in the edit right now, I'm doing some pickups for it. I'm actually going to go from here to one of these businesses.
Man. Let's go.
Who agreed, shout out Yarborough Transfer Company, because they just were like, yeah, you can shoot here and shoot overnight and we'll figure it out and get you the keys to the place. And that, like, you can't do that in a big city. Like, just go and have a human connection with somebody, and then they'll be like, yeah, I'm done to like help facilitate this. And
not, do you have to pull permits for any of these things? Or I would imagine you probably carry insurance.
Yeah, I've always got full production insurance, and permits are fairly lax in Winston. I've gone to the city hall and been like, what do I need to do? And they were like, well, normally people don't even ask, so this is a good start. And I was like,
give us $20.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Just so we can make some money off this thing.
Really nominal fee for doing the paperwork. And otherwise, they just appreciate getting the heads up.
That's cool.
All the way from like just being out and about shooting to like shutting down a full street. Like I shut down 5th Street to
Really?
film the first film. And they were like, yeah, all you need to do is hire some off-duty police and pay the rental fee for the barricades, and that's it.
Wow.
I was like, oh,
Cool.
great.
I guess I'm not eating dinner this week because I'm going to save a couple $100 to do that, you know?
Yeah.
That's cool, man. So 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞 was the first one.
Yeah.
I actually had a chance to go on set for that. And that was like a proper set. That was like you as writer, producer, director. What was that guy's name? That was the director.
Griffin.
Co-director. I want to say
yeah.
Owen, but yeah, Griffin was there, and like you had a director that was there. You had a DP. You had a full camera department, like lighting and everything. What was that like? Because had you been on a set like that before, or was that like kind of your first experience with that size of set?
No, I've been on sets that size and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
What I didn't see coming was my first ever film. I hadn't made anything prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe during the pandemic, I like was bored and put my camera around different places with natural light and didn't, you know, I didn't know anything other than that I wanted to occupy and give myself something creative to play around with. Other than that, this was my first like film. It's my first thing that I'd written, my first thing that I was trying to direct and produce, and it was kind of backwards. Like I had a big budget for it. Mm-hmm. Normally, you know, you're
working to the big budget.
Yeah, like, it's going to cost us all money. So I hope we all know that, and it's going to cost no one more money than me.
Yeah.
So please don't ask me for any extra money, or you know, if you can do it for free, great. Because I promise you, it's not just free for me; it's costing me money too.
I'm not getting paid on this.
Yeah. But for this one, I just got very, very lucky. Found a grant, secured the grant.
Sweet.
And it gave me the ability to treat it like, okay, let me make this a learning experience to the absolute nth degree. Let me get professional everything across the board. Let me pay everybody. And part of the grant was to support creativity and the community. So paying people was a no-brainer in it because it's helping the community out anyway.
Yeah.
But I was really insistent on trying to pay everybody, all the talent, all the stuff. Because in my experience coming from acting, that's the thing that people are always like, okay, but we do it for free because you're gonna get real footage and it's gonna go to
it'll
festivals.
Go on your portfolio, and it's like, dude, I don't need more portfolio work. I need more work.
Yeah, and like, you know, I've also made things with nothing since then and done that exact thing, being like, please do it for nothing, but maybe without the the false promise or the, you know, selling hope of as a form of payment, but instead being like, I'm making this for the fun of making it and for the passion of it, and I don't have a penny on me. I can't even offer you money, but if you want to be involved, let's do it. Yeah. As opposed to trying to quit. As soon as the snake oil comes out, you start losing people.
You're like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. But I will work for free if it's something that I'm like, I believe in this and I want to help tell the story. Absolutely. Yeah. And if this is a person or an idea or a project that you think is going to go somewhere, whatever it is, I'm so willing to do that. I want to always do that because I know what it's like to do it with nothing. Yeah. And I'll forever want to be passing it on in whatever way I can. Yes, I need to make money. Yes, I'll always be needing to pay for food and living, but I'm not in it for the money. Yeah. I just need to make money because that's how the world works. Yeah, I felt that on Carpetbaggers. Like, that was the most fun I've had filmmaking in a really long time. Yeah. Real quick, I'm going to move this. Yeah. That shoot, that was just like, that is what I imagined what film school would be like. I didn't go. Yeah. But it just felt like a bunch of friends hanging out over the weekend, making something fun and funny. Yeah. And like, there was no bearing on if it was good, if it was bad. It was just like, we want to do this because we like doing it. And because of that, it was so chill and so much fun. And I think it turned out great. Yeah. Because there was no pressure, no expectation. And like, I'll be honest, you had me be there as a producer, which for me was like, I guess I'm here in case things go completely off the rails, but like, I'm just going to eat crafty the whole time. Like,
yeah, let's do it, you know, and get to watch other people work and like see this amazing group of talent that exists here in Winston. It was great. It was cool. And I think you led that set really well. Like I'd never done like a meeting before a shoot or anything. I usually just roll in and start doing the thing, but you were like,
I mean, that's one of the nice things about having UNCSA, where the students are learning a model that is reflective of like a studio set, a massive production. But there are things about that I think are so valuable.
Yeah.
And that safety meeting, it really should just be a briefing, you know, not a safety meeting. And if it focuses just on safety, then we're losing the opportunity to inspire and lead.
Yeah.
And I love seizing that and being like, okay, we're here. Let's, you know, remind ourselves why we are here before we get started so that we can lead through with that and not just the safety thing. And I'm grateful for having learned that through something totally different from filmmaking, and then also getting to work with the UNCCA kids a lot, being like, oh, cool, I can steal that thing that they're doing because they're modeling a massive studio, and make sure it's part of my everyday projects.
Yeah, that's great. That reminds me of actually something I've been thinking about that I wanted to ask you about. YouTube University is what I call it. So like there's a bunch of self-taught filmmakers. Like I'm self-taught. I didn't go to film school. Did you go to film school, or did you self-taught? Just kind of learn through acting and being on set, right? Yeah, and I feel like I'm curious what you think about this if you run into this, but there's like kind of, I don't want to say I can tell when someone's learned on YouTube, but I can tell when someone's learned on YouTube, I'll just say it. Or maybe not had formal training or I've been on a studio set, because one of the things I loved about the students that you brought is they understood that they had their role, but they were part of a much larger machine that was working. Yeah. And sometimes I'll run into videographers or content creators who their concern is only with the thing that they're doing. Have you run into that at all, or do you have any thoughts on that at all? Like, am I just finding an axe to grind that doesn't exist? Like, I'm curious.
No, I definitely think that exists, and sometimes that works great.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't, you know. And I think more than anything, as long as that doesn't come attached with ego, that is inflexible in what that thing is. By all means, stay in your lane. By all means, make sure that your thing is done great, and then all these different things done great together create something even greater. Yes, I love that. But there are going to be moments where all of us have to be doing this thing. It's part of what I love about filmmaking that I don't know that actors always learn, which is how collaborative it truly is.
Dude,
like you think like that my world is so important as an actor, and like this is it. And like when a director says like come that way, you're like, oh, I wouldn't do that. And you think that has all this value to hold on to. And then you realize if you start to see more of the puzzle be put together, how much that moment is going to change over time. And you still, though, need to maintain that passion of like this thing, so that a good director, producers, all the people who are on that upper level are going to go, cool, thank you for staying so true to your vision. Here's how it needs to fit into the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be great. But it's a fine line, because if somebody gets too stuck in it and goes, no, I'm not willing to compromise. Well, okay, but we are not making machinery. We're making a human thing, especially in a narrative world.
Yeah. And it's a story, and a story has multiple parts and pieces, and being able to see your part and the value of your part isolated, but also in context of everything else. And then also see how it's elevated by everything, being part of everything else too, I think is huge. I've kind of asked you all the things I want to ask you. One of the things I do is I usually kick it over. Do you have any questions for me? Now that I've asked you a ton of things and we've had a great conversation, I think you have a great insight to filmmaking, because you see the whole shebang, and you see the individual thing, having been an actor. But yeah, I guess I'll ask you a bunch of questions. Do you have anything that you want to know or ask me?
Yeah, I think I'm curious about, you seem to be hopping around a little in like projects and in roles and all of that stuff. And I also know that, like, because I've heard from you that in the process of doing all of those things, it's kind of started to lead you towards like producing is the thing that I like want to do or like the most. But are there still things that are competing for that attention within you, or is part of the like switch up and change that kind of naturally comes with this career as well? But is that what you forever want, or is there like I want to settle more? And
that's a great question. So I think that like hopping around and changing that's happened, that's probably like within the last year and a half. That was two things or three or a couple things. Is like, first I'd left my job to start my company. And so I was like, what market position do I need to have to get enough work to sustain myself? And by kind of doing the dance, because like I told you, I kind of did everything coming up. It just happened that way. I didn't really seek it out, but I was trying to find the thing that was like, I can survive as a filmmaker or in video production. And I was always repositioning myself for the next job or like seasons like we talked about. I think the other part of it though is that I just really enjoy this so much that, and I understand and appreciate the value of every different part, that it's like, I want to be a part of all of it. And I think that's why I like producing so much, is because I can be a part of all of it and still carry some responsibility. Because like at the end of the day, especially because I do a lot of commercial, someone's got to walk over to the client and be like, hey, we got to do this, you know? And I've been burned enough times by people that, to your point about leadership, maybe didn't understand that part of it, that it's like, no, like I want to do it. Because I was talking to someone today, I realized, to no fault of anyone else, I just don't think I can work for anyone else, which is why I have my own company. Like, I believe that I'm built for the driver's seat, and I just want to be in it. So yeah, that's kind of like why it happened. In terms of like, are there any things that are competing for attention? Like, I love cameras, dude. Like, I love camera technology.
Yeah.
I also love lighting. Like, I think that if you understand lighting and your eyes work, these work, like, give me an iPhone, I'll shoot the pants off of anything, you know? And I've just always loved the ability to use, 16:9 or now 9:16 as a box to communicate with. And you can do that with sound, you can do that with light, you can do that with color, you can do that with the person in the frame or the position of the person in that frame and the lens that you use for it. So yeah, like I love cinematography, and I love people too, which is what draws me to directing. And I love, just like you said, you talked about the puzzle, right? I believe the producer and probably the director too, they're like kind of the keepers of the puzzle. And I love seeing I don't do puzzles in real life. I hate it. My wife's always like, do you want to do a puzzle? I'm like, I love you so much, but no, thank you. But filmmaking is a little bit like a puzzle.
Yeah.
But there's also a destination that we're trying to get to, I think, most of the time. And so being able to kind of build the puzzle and go on the journey together, I find so fascinating. The other thing that I'm thinking of doing, I haven't decided yet, is like, I have a weird ability to like snipe really good camera packages and like find really good deals on stuff. So I'm like, do I want to start flipping cameras? Like buying them and kitting them out and then reselling them and for a markup. And like, I'm thinking about it. Like, I have some money that I could try and start it out with, but I don't know if I want to or not. So
this is it's not a question. It might be a compliment.
Okay.
It's definitely a comment. I was in the shower knowing that I was coming down here, and my brain was just thinking about the journey and all this stuff and what it is, where I've come from, where I'm going, and that kind of age-old cliched adage of, you hear a lot of wise heads in the game, especially the older people, who give what seems to be this Bible truth for them. If you can do anything else, do that instead.
Yeah.
And something that has drawn me to you since I met you, and I feel I believe in a lot, is that I could do anything else, but it actually won't be as fun as this.
It won't, right?
Like, you can do anything else, and if you can do something else, and like you want to do that, great, and you might make more money, you'll make more stable money, that's for sure. But it probably won't be as fun. And I don't think people say that enough. I don't think that they're honest enough to be like, yeah, but I'm in it because yes, I've gotten lucky and it sustained my whole lifetime, and it is unlikely that would ever happen. But if you want to just live your life enjoying it, it's really, really enjoyable. If you're not thinking, I'm gonna make $1 million over X amount of time, that might happen, it might not happen, but if you love doing it, it won't matter if that happens or not. And it's so sad to me when that's the only thing you hear of that. Like
the crusty old guys are like, my back is all, I've been a grip forever, my back is destroyed, like, and they're telling the new kid, the new, grip or PA, like, find a different job kind of thing,
Any advice? Yeah, do something else. Well, but there's a lot worse things out there to do. They suck.
Yeah.
Some jobs will nearly kill you.
And
this one will have its moments, but ultimately it has so much more complexity to it that it's such a fun thing to get to pursue because of that.
Yeah.
Because it gives you fulfillment in different ways that it's very rare to find that in something that you can make money off of.
Yeah. I agree 100%. And I'll be honest, first 5-6 years of my career was that grind of just like barely making $30,000-$40,000 a year. Like, not to talk numbers or whatever, but I kind of picked up early on that too, but realized on what you were talking about, but realized that like, that's just the trade-off, right? I'll trade maybe some income because what I'm spending my days doing is a little more interesting. And you use the word fun and fulfilling. Yes, like it is so fulfilling to do this. And I feel so fortunate to be able to do this like as my job. And kind of, I don't want to say it's like a life choice because again, I've been very fortunate to, like I chose to do this as a career path and the rest of my life kind of aligned with that. But I had to make those things happen, So yeah, man, like I'm with you though. Like we should talk more about how fun and great it is to do this,
That's okay to be like, it's great.
I'm so happy that and I tell people all the time, I feel so blessed and fortunate to do this. Like
And the right is I like the word complex because it's not complicated, but it is complex.
Yes.
And are there lows? Yeah, there's a lot of lows. But even that is more enjoyable to me than living a life that just plateaus.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's always tempting. And when you're doing this with your life, you're like, sometimes you get a little motion sick and you're like, ooh.
You're like,
buddy, those people who are just plain sailing look real comfortable, and they are, but like, it's not as enjoyable to me of a way to go through life. And that applies to a lot of things. Like, and I might do that with my career, but like my personal life does this, and therefore it's no issue.
Yeah.
But there is something that's funny because when we first started it, I mentioned it to you when you said you had just been working earlier. And now this, and I said
working, living, working.
Yeah, and I said, what's the difference? And you were like, I don't know, but there should be. And it is an interesting debate there, but there's no questioning the fact that this career is both.
Yeah. So 100%. And to that point, it makes me think about like how people, you go get a job and when like, let's say we're out in a bar, out in whatever, and we're meeting new people. What's the first question you ask people? So what do you do? And like our whole not identity, but the way we interact and introduce with strangers is about what we do.
It's hard not to default to that question.
Exactly. And so, but it's never who am I or like, what are you interested in? What do you like to do, and I always ask, what do you like to do for fun?
Yeah.
And then we talk about work, you know? But it makes me think like, I think it's a choice you have to make, but I 100% believe you can choose to live to work or to work to live. Mm-hmm. And for me, this whole journey I've been on this last year and a half was about me choosing to work to live. I think that's the right one. I don't live to work. Like I don't wake up and go like, oh, I'm gonna go to work, I gotta do it. No, it's like work is something that happens, and like if I get all my work done before 11 o'clock in the morning, I'm playing Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered the rest of the day. I'm chilling, like, you know, like I've done what I'm supposed to, you know?
Yeah.
And I've just been very fortunate to be able to do that, so yeah. Well, that's all I got. 50 minutes, not bad. Much shorter than my other ones.
There we go.
Is there anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to share?
Nah, not unprompted.
Okay. So then, kind of to close it up, where's the best place that people can find you, like as an actor or as a director, or just, you know, places where you have your films up, or a digital presence, like social media handles if you want to share them?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I have a website, my full name, 𝐃𝐿afferty.com, and there's a contact on there, but Instagram's probably the best way to get me. That's my old nickname from when I was a kid, Jack the Javelin.
I love it.
With no spaces, no nothing. Just Jack the Javelin.
Right on, man. Well, I appreciate you coming by. Thanks for coming, and yeah, we'll see you next time.
Heck yeah.